Welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into something absolutely game-changing today. We're going to break down an incredibly detailed EdTech workshop, and we'll be looking closely at the real-world experiences of a brilliant educator, Teacher John. Listen, we aren't just looking at a random list of AI tools today, not at all. We're looking at a carefully connected semester-long workflow. It's really all about designing an entire learning journey that is completely grounded in a teacher's core educational philosophy.
So I want to start by posing this question. Think about this for a second. What happens when AI stops being just a tool and actually becomes a co-designer of your educational philosophy? It's a pretty profound thought, right? Because we so often treat AI like a glorified search engine, or maybe a magic wand that just spits out facts. But today, we're totally challenging that assumption. We're shifting the paradigm to see how AI can actively help structure, visualize, and execute your specific teaching goals.
You've got to consider this powerful shift in mindset. Quote, use AI not as an autopilot, but as a GPS, where you input the destination. You, the teacher, hold the map. You have the pedagogical intent. If you just hand the steering wheel over to the AI, well, you're going to get really generic results. But when you punch in the exact coordinates, your learning objectives, your philosophical approach, the AI completely accelerates the journey for both you and your students.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. Philosophy of AI lesson design. 2. First step, living class notes. 3. Sandbox, collaboration without free riders. 4. Notebook LM, philosophically driven visualization. 5. From consumer to active creator. And 6. Perfect loop, assessment and reflection.
Let's start with part 1, the philosophy of AI lesson design.
Because without an underlying philosophy, teaching tools are literally nothing more than software manuals. But here, what we have is a holistic seed-to-harvest timeline. You start on day 1 using Padlet to break the ice. By week 4, students are collaborating in a sandbox. In week 8, they deepen that knowledge using Notebook LM. By week 12, they're expanding their horizons, actually creating mini-apps with Canva and Gemini. And it all wraps up beautifully in week 16 with Quizlet. It's a complete, totally connected journey.
Moving on to step 2, living class notes.
Okay, so we all know that awkward silence on the very first day of class, right? How do we break it effectively while also setting up our tech infrastructure? The answer is creating a digital identity on Padlet. And this is just brilliant. The teacher asks students to generate an AI image that represents their MBTI personality type. Then they create these interactive Guess My Favorite quizzes, like Guess My Favorite Food. Finally, they use an AI image generator to create an animal persona. So, for example, if a student loves golf and tigers, they prompt the AI to create a golfing tiger. It instantly engages the students, gets everyone laughing, and crucially, it naturally teaches them the basics of AI image generation without it ever feeling like a chore.
But the deeper purpose behind this fun icebreaker is actually really profound. Teacher John explains that this day 1 Padlet isn't just a throwaway activity. It becomes a living portfolio. Every single piece of feedback, every picture of handwritten notes, every future assignment gets pinned right here. By planting these specific seeds on day 1, the teacher is automatically building the foundation for the end-of-year student evaluations and records.
Section 3. Sandbox or collaboration without free riders.
So the class is all warmed up, the tech is established, now we address how we solve the eternal headache of group work, the dreaded free rider problem. Teacher John uses Padlet Sandbox to assign 4 explicit roles to her groups. First up, the keyword searcher collects the core ideas. Second, the draft writer takes those words and structures the initial sentences. Third, the AI prompt engineer takes that draft to an AI to refine the grammar and flow. And fourth, the visual creator designs the layout and generates matching AI images. This structure forces absolute transparency and it maximizes class efficiency. Everyone has a highly specific job to do.
And the contrast here is absolutely striking. In traditional group work, a student who might be a bit weak at writing might just hide and become a free writer. But in the AI role-assigned sandbox, that exact same student can be the AI prompt engineer. They don't need to write the perfect sentence from scratch. They just need to know how to ask the AI the right questions and then evaluate its output. It values totally different types of strengths, which makes true teamwork completely unavoidable.
Number 4. Notebook LM and philosophically driven visualization.
As we move deeper into the semester, you know the reading materials are going to get harder. The sources describe tackling a really complex text about the sugar industry scandal, where the sugar industry literally paid to blame dietary fats for health issues back in the 1960s. It's a dense read, but look at what Notebook LM can do with it. You can ask it to generate slides in a 1960s retro report style, which frames the text historically. You can ask for magazine storytelling, which organizes all that complex causality into hierarchical infographics. Or you can request a researcher whiteboard style, which looks like friendly, intuitive handwriting on a chalkboard. This kind of visual presentation completely shifts how students comprehend the material. But right here is Teacher John's absolute pro tip. Pay attention to this. If you use a standard prompt like, summarize this text into a presentation, the AI decides what's important. It dictates the flow. Instead, she provides the AI with an exact, detailed outline. She'll say, create 15 slides, slide 1 must be keywords, slide 2 and 3 must be background, and so on. When you do this, the AI isn't driving the car anymore. It is executing your educational philosophy. It perfectly aligns the technology with your specific lesson goals.
Section 5. Moving from consumer to active creator.
This is the climax of our whole semester arc, where all those planted seeds are finally harvested. Students take every single artifact they've made over the months and compile it into a beautiful Canva website. Page 1 holds that day 1 digital identity. Page 2 features their collaborative sandbox writing. Page 3 showcases those awesome Notebook LM visualizations. They even use Canvas Magic Eraser to clean up any weird AI image glitches, adding their own human polish. And then we get to page 4, the custom AI mini app.
Yes, you heard that right. These students are building their own apps, and they do it with absolutely zero coding knowledge, zero. They use a simple natural language prompt in Google Gemini, something like, create HTML code for a 5-question multiple-choice quiz mini-app to practice English vocabulary. Gemini just spits out the functional code, they save it, host it, and boom, they have a real, working app right on their phones.
Which leads us to this vital definition. An active creator is a student who moves beyond passively consuming content to autonomously building interactive learning tools for themselves and others. Just imagine the pride a student feels taking the QR code of a working app that they generated themselves and pasting it right onto their final Canva portfolio. It is an absolute paradigm shift in how they view their own capabilities.
And finally, Section 6, the perfect loop of assessment and reflection.
Our journey comes full circle here. To wrap up the semester's learning, the class plays review games using Quizzin, but the real magic isn't the quiz score at all. It's the metacognitive process that follows. Students analyze their incorrect answers, they formulate improvement strategies, and then they write an error analysis note. And guess where they save this note? Right back in the soil of that day 1 Padlet. The entire year of data forms one perfect, unbroken loop of learning, feedback, and growth.
Which leaves us with this incredible, totally thought-provoking question straight from the workshop sources. If educational tools are so accessible that students are out here easily creating their own learning apps for one another, how does the definition of a classroom change? And honestly, more importantly, how does your role as a teacher evolve? You are no longer just delivering knowledge, you are the architect of a deeply connected AI-empowered ecosystem. I really hope this explainer has given you the blueprint to start building your own. Keep experimenting and keep learning.